Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Hello and welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. We are live on the Miguel and Holly Facebook and YouTube channel. Make sure that if you listen to the podcast, you can always go listen to our other podcasts we have. It's like the world of Miguel and Holly. You can listen to Miguel and Holly Full Show, Miguel and Holly Queen City Confessions, Miguel and Holly's Blown Off. You can listen to it wherever you listen to podcasts. Holly, we didn't get a chance to talk about it on the show today. And now this is the time to sort of work through everything. Is Holly splits her time. If you're one of the Charlotte fam and you're new to the podcast, which we call you the Platypus Posse, Holly splits her time between Charlotte and Tampa, where we came from, whereas Kelbin came from Miami. And Holly, you're in a new studio.
I'm in the new studio!
Yeah. So what's really cool is that iHeartRadio that we work for, they've done over the past 5 years this big capital project where they have basically sold a lot of the real estate they owned and took that money into building state-of-the-art radio facilities of the future. And so Kelbin and I get into our new Charlotte studios in a couple of weeks, but the salespeople and the office staff, they're already over there. They just moved last week and our studios are being finished. But in Tampa, they just finished it now. And so Holly, you are the first person to broadcast from that facility.
Yes, I am. I go down in history. Not that people keep such records, but like I go down in history as the first live show in the Feather Sound facility.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
Obviously, if you are listening to this, you're probably going to want to get onto the YouTube or Facebook whenever you get a chance. But Holly, so you right now have this state-of-the-art microphone, which you sound amazing on all day.
I know. It like in my headphones, I feel like my voice is like butter.
Yeah. I mean, like you sound like you are in me right now.
Oh,
like in my head, in my ear, like between my ears.
I'm inside your dome piece, as you say.
I feel like you're just bouncing back and forth between my ears. That's how crisp and clear. Whereas like sometimes from the Tampa facility, you sounded like you were. Sometimes it sounded in the trash bin. Yeah, it sounded like you were with Oscar the Grouch a little bit. It's fine.
It did. Well, I mean, that building was so old. The board, everything about that building was it was bad.
Yeah, and so I apologize. This might be a little boring. So allow me to. This is why on my Instagram it says Radio Geek. Because these are things that I get super geeky and excited about. But like, if you are from Tampa, you know the history of FLZ and the Power Pig and MJ and Bubba and those radio awards. I mean, even if you actually have never been to Tampa and you're from Charlotte, you've heard of the shock jock Bubba the Love Sponge and the whole case with Hulk Hogan, with him castrating a pig on the air in the early 2000s.
Tampa was wild, y'all. Like Tampa radio history was wild. If you even just do a quick Google search, you'll find it. It's absolutely bonkers.
It is. And Holly broadcasted from that facility for the past year.
Sure did.
With those legendary names in the radio industry. And so now you get to be a part of that history now in this new building. So how is it?
It's awesome. I really love it. I was nervous because I just got my training in this new building yesterday. And I wish I could take this camera down and show you. Do you think I can?
Oh.
Would it be wise to do it?
Hold on. We're on the podcast, so we got time.
All right.
Let's
I don't know
see.
how it's connected. Oh, it's easy. Oh, but it's not that easy because I don't think this is very...
The cord.
I know, right?
The cord is real short.
And while Holly's doing that, Amy says, Amy's from Tampa. She remembers all of that. Ooh, look at you. You got a real audio board. Holly's giving us a tour if you're just listening once this is posted.
Look at this wireless keyboard that's all fresh and new.
I love it.
Get your gunk in it.
Yes.
So I have something called Next Gen. I have this.
Holly can see what I see here in Charlotte.
All right, I'm gonna turn around this way.
All right.
And I have a second screen over here.
Oh.
And Why am I talking off the microphone? So then like I do one thing for a living. What the hell? So then anyway, so this is like my main screen right here that I'm like, you guys are there. Okay. And this is terrible if you're just listening to the podcast. But the screen right in front of me has Miguel and Kelbin. The screen next to it, this morning, I put our text line, I put our show schedule, and I think that was it. Over here, there's a big TV to the right-hand side. I put my next gen up there because I can't log into this room's next gen and see our stuff. I have to go to a web-based program. So I put that next gen on that big TV over there. Then in front of me, there's another big TV screen and the door, but I don't know what to do with that. This is what I'm saying. Like it's like I'm like a kid in a candy store. Like I don't know what to do with that.
So much. I love
Was
it.
the training
across
hard?
from me. It was harder than I thought it was going to be, but not crazy. Like I thought it was going to be like just do this, but like this Tiger team of professionals, they want to make sure they leave no stone unturned. Okay. So behind me, there's another screen, and it's currently got our logo on it.
Oh, we can see that. That looks a lot better.
Yeah, we've got to work out some kinks. Like there's a remote that controls all the TVs in the room, and there's like a folder where you can just rotate through logos, but since I'm in Tampa, they didn't have the Charlotte logo ready to go. So I'm having to like cast it from my laptop onto that TV. It's a whole thing. So that's kind of the little tour of the room.
I love it.
I have a new chair with a cloth seat that I'm really excited about.
Holly, do you
because
want
my butt's not going to sweat.
while you put the camera back up there, right before we went on, Holly was telling us about why she was so excited about this new seat she has. And I know this sounds mundane, but if you work anywhere where you're not standing, or like if you're in retail and you walk around, but if you work in an office and you know how you want your stuff to be very delicate, you want it to be a certain way. And what issue did you have, Holly, with the previous chair you had?
And I feel like I've never wanted to be a diva. But I felt like such a diva with this stupid complaint that I had. But like we sit for a long time. I'm like, yes, should I stand up and like get my like move around and whatever? And like, yeah. But do I? No, because I'm still standing and the board is still down here. And it's made for you to sit at it. Also, I'm lazy, so I like sitting. But anyway,
Same.
I get to work, and so from whatever time I get here, like today it was 5. I got here at 5 this morning, and I'm here sometimes until noon or so. You're just sitting. That's a long time to sit. And the previous seats were this thick leather on the bottom. I have been I'm just going to bear it all on the podcast. Sorry, TMI, trigger warning about gross stuff on your body. I'm doing it. I have been getting like horrific like pimples on the downstairs area.
Somebody's into that.
Nobody's into it. If you've ever had one, you know how not into it you are. Like it is one of the most painful things that you can experience, because anytime you sit, you are in pain the entire time you're sitting.
Or are they red bumps?
It's like a nodule, like a big inflamed under the skin hard nodule. Sometimes like, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch in diameter. And it's such a sharp pain, constant. And then there would get what I would do is I would like take a super hot shower so I could like try to see if I could pop it. I know you're not supposed to, but like, I'm like, that's the only way I'm going to get relief. So like I would try to take a super hot shower. If I did manage to pop it, I would have some relief, and then it would go away in like another day. But if it was to the point where it's like, there's no white head to pop yet, I'm just sitting through that pain. And that would happen because of this thick leather seat that I was sitting on. And I wear like leggings every day. So that's probably part of the reason why too. Because they can sometimes trap the heat. Is I would be getting these pimples probably like at least once a month.
Does your partner pop them for you?
No, he wants no part of this.
Oh, okay.
None. One time. No, listen, and this would be me in the bathroom. If you're on the podcast, you can have a special treat. So this is me if you're on the YouTube anyway. So I'd be in the bathroom and I would like have a leg up here
Yes.
This
And
is
a
the
mirror-
cover photo for today.
and
by
a
the way.
mirror and like a little pit, and I'm like trying to hold a mirror, hold the pit. I'm underneath here looking like this. He wants no part of it. One time I accidentally had the door open while I'm doing this after a shower, and I'm like this. And he comes in and he's like,
no.
hey, and he's like, no, why? He's like, I love you, and I'm so sorry this is happening to you, but like, God, I don't want to see it. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Jesus. So anyway, I would be getting the pimples because I was sweating. My whole butt was sweating. And so now we have cloth chairs. Like,
Holly's undercarriage can breathe.
I'm so sorry we spent so much time on that, but like it was a really big deal for me. I would feel one coming on and be like, no, God, no.
No, I love it. I wanted you to spend a moment to
Yeah.
express your gratitude,
Mhm.
your appreciation for it. I'm happy for you. And when we were doing the radiothon for Levine Children's Hospital,
Yes.
Holly was in the midst of it. And
The
so
first day of the radiothon, I had one. and
every
it was
time we would go to sit down in the Seacrest studios, Holly would have to like slowly sit down and then like spread her legs so she could get relief. And I felt so bad.
Yeah, and like I understand that not everyone gets pimples. Like, thanks, Siri.
That was my serious.
I understand because like Jacqueline on YouTube said this can happen if you don't exfoliate or hydrate correctly. Amy said, I sit 10 plus hours a day for my job. I know what you're saying, but I never got the pimples. Listen, I'm prone. I'm acne prone. It's not that like, I mean, I'm showering every day, all of this stuff, but like for me, when I'm sweating like that, especially, like it just clogs my pores. And I worked so hard to fix the acne on my face with so many different medications, so many different rounds of so many different medications. I'm just acne prone. That's just my body. My pores get clogged. It's just a personal thing. So I get it. And this doesn't happen to everybody. So I understand that. But like, it's just such a relief. And yes, at the radiothon, the first day was we were sitting for 13 hours.
Yes.
And so then I went to the hotel and I was like, something's got to happen.
Oh, we got
That
to
night.
pop this.
And I did. And then the next day I was like,
Oh,
I can sit
you
through the
ladies
second day of the
just pop
radiothon.
like this.
Good Lord.
Mr.
Sorry
Kelbin-
for that horrific TMI, but
No, not at
y'all
all.
are- it's fine.
No, we got a lot of good screenshots out of that. So thank
Yes,
you.
I'm
we
sure.
did.
I'm
I can't
absolutely
wait
sure.
for that. Kelvin, you were saying, does Oscar, your fiance, does he pop your pimples?
He loves to pop my back pimples. I don't get them quite often, but he loves it. He is just so amused. It does something for him. He likes to pop stuff. I personally, I don't care. Like I'll do it, but I don't seek it. And just every time we shower together, he's like, turn around. Let me see it. Let me see if I can get something. People like popping pimples. I mean, there's a whole TV show on
I
TLC
know.
about it.
People
I
watch the
wouldn't
videos on
mind.
YouTube, and I'm like, I
I don't like to
it.
watch it.
No.
I wouldn't mind helping out my this bitch never gets a pimple. Even if I wanted to pop one, he's like blessed with the skin of angels.
Bitch.
So and so he doesn't get it. He's one of these people that's like, I mean, maybe you're washing your face too much. I don't wash mine and I'm fine. I'm like, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pretend you didn't say that. Just shut your mouth and never say it again.
That's Oscar. Like just literally water in his face. I'm
Like
you
some
mother-
people, some people's skin is like impervious. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. You can do anything to it and it's just fine.
Literally.
Not mine. So anyway.
Amy says, awesome looking new studio. Congrats. You are also clear on the screen, Holly.
Yes. So before we started the podcast, I was telling them, do you want me in high def? Because I have options now. This new camera in the studio, you can be low def, standard def, or high def. And I don't want to be on high def right now because you can see enough wrinkles as it is with standard def.
Wow.
So
Well,
But yeah.
apparently we have some people here that like the popping of the pimples.
Oh.
Noemi says, I love popping pimples.
Work.
Jennifer said, worse when you get one between the thighs, especially big girl thighs.
I feel that.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like
Well,
I didn't even explain to you exactly where they are. That makes them so that's too much. That's too much for this podcast.
Why don't we get
It's not
like
just on my butt cheek.
We can
It's
get a
not just
visual.
there.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I can Google something real
Faux.
quick and pop it up on the screen.
I think that's at like probably against YouTube rules.
Yeah, no, I would end up losing our stuff again.
There we go.
Let's see here. Jacqueline said, I love pimple popping. It's so satisfying getting it out because I know it doesn't belong there.
That's true. That's why I wouldn't mind it. Like, I'm like, clear it out.
Yeah.
That's why I just cleanse it. Shit out of
I've
there.
never been one to pop pimples because my mom warned me in middle school because she has sort of like the marks on her face from doing that.
Mhm.
And so she was big about like, do not pop your pimples. And so that's why back then when I was in middle school and I would go with like the big, like the white heads on like my big lips or my nose, and I'd be like, I don't want it. But now I'm like so glad because I don't have any of the scarring because I would just let it naturally play out. But God, at the time was I like, no.
I couldn't do it.
And
Mine
you
was
have
so huge,
pimple
I couldn't do it.
patches.
Well, I like you can pop pimples. It's just they don't ever tell you how to do it. You have to use a pin.
Right.
Like you have to use a or like if you know someone that's diabetic, like those little finger prick things, those are super great. I have a ton from my mom. You just use those and they're sterile and you just like, it's like you lance it. You're not pushing or squeezing or anything like that. You just lance it and then like gently let some of that grossness out because otherwise it's just going to fester in there for longer. So if you just gently let some of that out, not pulling or picking at the skin, that'll clears it up quicker and it shouldn't leave scarring.
I popped all my pimples in high school.
Oh,
my
really?
worst, my peak was high school. I remember in 10th grade, my mom popping like one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here.
Oh,
these were tough times,
Yeah, they
friend.
were.
I'd say.
But you know what's so sad is I wish that like as, you know, and because every generation goes through it, but you would just wish at some point we would all at that age look at each other and be like, hey, we all fucking have our hormones going through the roof. We all hate life. Let's just experience it together and not be mean.
I wish.
But of course, there is not a universe or not a scenario where that would ever happen. But now looking back, you're like, what? We were all just going through it. We were all just being miserable, but we all had to have a hierarchy.
It's weird though, because it seems like other people aren't miserable.
Right.
I never thought anybody else's face looked as bad as mine. Like everything is the worst for you, you know?
Oh my gosh. Ugh. I remember looking at pictures back then and being like, I'm so fat. Oh my God. And now I'm like,
you weren't even fat,
no,
even a little
I
bit.
wasn't. That's why I'm like, yeah. Excuse me. Oh, that's why that Baz Luhrmann, everyone's free to wear sunscreen. That one line always gets me or chokes me up, where it's like you'll never think that you're fit at the time, but then you'll look back at those pictures and be like, wow, I looked really good. Yeah. And that's why I always try to make sure that I'm like, Miguel, you look good right now, girl.
Yeah.
Noemi said, I got an 8th grade boy. I forgot how horrible middle school was. Yeah. I think that middle school is the worst. I think middle school is like high school, freshman year, pretty miserable. It got better, but 6th through 8th grade was the worst.
I'm so nervous about when Maya gets to be about 11 or 12. Ugh. Like, I know. And then the people in middle schoolers are like, you don't know. And I'm like, okay, I'm picturing the absolute like worst thing that I possibly could.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking forward to it. I'm scared is what it is. So I'm trying to like hold on to her youngness right now because I know that it's going to be a complete and utter train wreck in 3 years.
Do you think it would help to proactively put a child in therapy, like to get them through middle school? Just so, because, you know, that's the age when she'll start to like turn away from you just because that just naturally happens. But where that's an objective person. Because I remember for me, one of the best things that my school system did in Atlanta, and I wish they did it in middle school, but in 7th grade, you met your high school guidance counselor. And so you would start those conversations in 7th grade and then in 8th grade when you were picking if you were going career tech or college prep. Now, this was, 1999, so I don't know what it is now. So by the time I got to high school, I knew and had a relationship with my guidance counselor. And so I trusted her. We're actually friends on Facebook, Miss Bleacher. And so I would go to her. She's the first person I ever told that I was gay. And so do you think that would be good to like start that process where she sort of has that, or any person that age, to have that relationship established with the therapist?
Yes. And my partner and I talk about this too in regards to his daughter, because I've talked about it before. He has bipolar disorder. So, there's a higher chance that his daughter might have bipolar disorder. And he's like, I don't ever want her to go through the hell that I went through. Cause he was undiagnosed until age 37 or whatever.
Wow.
And he just didn't know, because when you don't know, you think your thoughts are normal thoughts that everyone has. Cause how would you know any different?
Right.
You know?
Right.
So he wants to get her started, and I was thinking about for Maya too, and Maya has been in therapy a couple of times, like a couple of for different reasons. So she's got a therapist, but I don't know if I like the therapist, because when I was going through some stuff and I was being very open and honest with the therapist too, this child psychologist, I don't like how she treated me. Like, she treated me like I was a crazy person, and I knew I wasn't. And she didn't she acted like she obviously knew better, which as the therapist you probably do,
Mhm.
but I never felt like it felt so demoralizing to have this woman not believe me in any capacity. And so I don't know if I like that person for her, even though she's had experience with her. So I don't know what to do. I mean, do you think I should look for a new one?
Yeah.
Or since Maya has the relationship with this woman, keep going to her? I don't know. It's a hard call.
Maybe you should ask your therapist.
Oh, yeah.
Ask her. I mean, my
That's true.
my first instinct is to say to change. But then there might be something about, continuity and stuff like that when it comes to childhood development. And clearly, I am not a child therapist or any sort of psychology degree.
Yeah.
Or
But
child advocate
I am a child advocate, just not for me.
for you.
Right.
For everyone else that wants and can love a child.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. So I may get a new one. I have a therapy appointment Friday. So I may make that part of it, like that tail end, and just be like, I'm thinking about this. I think Maya could use it. Like, Maya and I had a really good talk last night before bed. It came kind of out of nowhere. I wasn't really expecting it, but it got real deep and real serious. And I felt so bad for her. She's dealing with some things in her life that kids shouldn't have to deal with. And I get so sad, but I'm like trying my best to be there for her, and give her guidance at a 9-year-old level. And it's so difficult. So I think it wouldn't be a bad idea, but I think I'll have to, I'm gonna ask my therapist what she thinks about that.
What a privilege. And I don't say that in a mean way. Like, how exciting that she gets to have that resource growing up.
Yeah.
Like, how many people would benefit from having therapy in middle school?
Yes. Yes.
I didn't even know I had that availability going to school. Like, I just don't even think about those things. You just go through the tough times and that's it. You're on your
I
own.
think a lot of people did. Like, a lot of people were like, oh, what is therapy? Like, oh, we didn't know. I didn't know. Certainly. You're just like alone with your thoughts. Well, that's what I was trying to impress on Maya, is like, you're not alone with your thoughts. Like, please use me as a resource to talk about them. Even if you feel embarrassed, I'm not judging you. I'm here to help you. Like, please. I know it's weird maybe because I'm your mom, but also like, no one's going to fight for you as hard as I fight for you. So if you can get past that embarrassment, just please get it off your chest at least and talk to me about it.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that helped me a lot in school. And because I was in special ed growing up, I actually had to go to therapy. And I remember the first one I went to, I think it was when I was in Denver. So I was in 6th grade. And it was like a group of like boys where we would talk. And so that was kind of awkward, because that's when I really started to realize that I was a little different than the other little boys. And then there was also one boy that smelled in the class. But like, looking back, it's like there's my brain from back then that was like, oh my God, Matt smells so bad. And we were in this like tiny room, and there were like 4 of us with the guy, and like the counselor smelled like smoke, and then Matt smelled real bad. And so I was distracted the entire time. But now looking back, probably the reason why Matt was in there is because he had a poor home life. and didn't have
Yes.
the ability to shower or get clean clothes.
Right.
And so now I'm like, oh my God, poor Matt. But back then I was like, gosh damn it, fuck. I want to share my feelings, but I want to open my mouth.
Damn, Miguel.
It smelled real bad. Listen, if I
Bully.
remember it all, I never said anything,
I know you didn't.
but I was like, I ain't saying shit because it smelled like shit.
Oh no.
Oh no! Well, I'm not putting her in group therapy.
Maybe
We're gonna
not.
find a one-on-one.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
I do want to, before we head out, because we have a meeting we got to get to. I'm sorry. Jeez.
Okay.
I wanted to real quick talk about the things that you do with your partner that probably you feel like no one else does. Like Holly, you said that, like, you know, when you got your legs spread eagle and you're doing all that, and he's like, no.
He was
But,
like, nope.
you know, so there's that thing that y'all don't do. But what are some of the other things that you all do that are either like weird or funny? So I'll start.
Okay.
Like, this is like anything crazy, but Abe and I have done this a couple times, and then we're like, this is really weird. We're like, if he's had a lot of LaCroix,
Yeah.
and we'll be on the couch, and then I'll like just put my head on his stomach, and then I'll be like, move around, and then I'll just listen to the juices slosh around.
Yes.
He wants you listen to his gut.
I don't know why. I find it so fascinating to hear go. And then after like 30 seconds, we'll both be like, this is weird. Yes. Well, thank you for allowing me to listen to your insides.
Right.
I
I don't know if this is a kink. I mean, I don't get turned on by doing this. I just like really love comforting people. I can't do it with my words, but I can do it with my actions.
Oh.
And so
with that mouth.
I don't know, that's right. But what I like to do for Oscar if he's in a rush, this is really personal.
I can't wait.
I help him get really ready for work. And so it's not that I pretend to be it. I just do it. I pretend to be like his like assistant butler. And so like I'll help him get his clothes. I'll help him put on his underwear. I will like put deodorant on him. I'll get his toothpaste ready. And so I'll try to brush his teeth, and he's like, I got it. Like, I don't need you to do that. And I'm like, no, I want to do it. I get the lotion on his body. I put it on his face. I get him ready. I get his hair ready. Like, I just get everything ready for him so he doesn't have to lift a finger. I don't know if he's going to be
trying to get the toothbrush in there, and he's like, damn it.
Stop.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Yes. Like
Yeah.
from head to toe.
Wait a minute. There is.
I don't know. Like, I don't
I
know.
think that's so beautiful and lovely and what's the word I'm looking for? Just like so comforting and attentive, but
Yeah.
also it's like what the fuck?
Yeah. I do it all. I even do the little Q-tips too. I'm kind of
What?
scared.
No,
I'm
you
scared. Yeah.
He pushed too hard
I don't push.
accidentally.
I just do it to dry up his ears. I don't go deep.
But
Well,
another person can't know the sweet spot. You know the
Right.
sweet spot when you're doing the Q-tip in your ear, and it's like,
He's learned
so
it.
good. I don't know if you could get it.
You
good
know
at
what?
it.
That everything you just described to me, it sounds like you're his personal valet, like
Yes,
in
it does.
Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
Downton Abbey.
That is your next career.
I get his girdle already. I
You, like,
tighten his
tie
girdle.
his cravat,
You're his valet.
his ascot.
Oh my God. Like, does he ever go, would you just get out? I'm trying to, or is he like, that?
Definitely.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely. But for the majority of the time, he's like, okay.
Oh.
I don't mind it.
I love it,
It's very
but I'm
sweet.
also like this. Like I'm like, like I love it though. It's a good combo.
He's-
Maybe he is too.
He's spoiled.
Yes,
Aw.
I love it. Holly, what about you?
I don't know. Nothing is that crazy. I cannot compete with that. Oh man, let me think.
By the way, this is a topic we have to do on the air. This is too good. I need
I know
this whole
because I
story
would
told again on
never
the
have. I also want this story told on the air, obviously shortened. But like, I can't think.
That's all right.
Like some physical thing that you do.
It could be anything. It could be
I know you guys like to sing songs. Are there weird
We
songs that you
do.
like to sing together?
No, we just like singing to get if he's in a good mood, like if he's in an up lovey crazy mood, like we'll do some loud singing together. I love when he loud sings. I love when he sings. He sings in the shower and I make Maya go shh, shh, so I can like listen to him singing. And so I like when he sings. It's like my favorite thing. So whenever he's like, because he sometimes this bitch played football. Someone should have put him in a choir, in plays. He would have stolen every show because he's actually a good singer. But this bitch can also belt, and sometimes it's even obnoxious how loud he is. He's like, whoa! And I'm like, okay, come on,
like, too much.
You're showing off. So he likes to sing. I like when he sings. We sing together. And what we do, like what we normally do, our normal relationship is us psychoanalyzing every single thing about each other and each other's lives.
Yeah.
I mean, we do that. That's like our normal nightly conversation. Like, I'm like, how are you? He's like,
That's weird.
no, it's not. I think, well,
no, it's weird,
In a
but
good
it's
way.
y'all. Yeah, just like Kelbin and Oscar, it's weird, but it's them.
I would not like to be with someone that I didn't do this with. Like because Miguel, I feel like you and I did it a little bit.
Yes, we did. Mhm.
Right. So like I'm that person. So
Right.
thankfully he's that person. So like all this stuff that he had been going through with when he was diagnosed with bipolar and all his other shit that he's got going on, I would sit and I love to research. So I will research everything and then come home with like a wealth of knowledge and be like, here's what I found. This. And then he's like, okay, well, here's how I feel. And I'm like, I'm taking notes. I have so many notes about all his moods. And like, it's been going for years now when we can now finally see a pattern. Like we've done all the research to figure out how to like really manage it. And so also stuff going on with like his ex-wife and the issue that they're having with co-parenting right now. Like we will sit and we will discuss the shit out of it. We will beat that dead horse into the ground every which way until Tuesday and figure out like, is there one line of communication that we haven't figured out yet? And with my mom's death, like we've sat up, like I woke up real early last week, I think, and I had a thought and then I had to wake him up and I'm like, I didn't just think that it's because when I was little and this, and I'm like, am I right? He's like, well, you also, I think it's this and this. And so we will psychoanalyze each other until we can like, it's like therapy until we like get that thorn out. And then we're like, okay. So then we each go to our individual therapies, do more stuff, come back, talk about that. We do a lot of deep digging and talking.
I like that.
Is it appropriate? And I haven't done this yet. And I haven't even asked him if I can ask him, but I don't know if I should. So Abe has started going to therapy, and I was so excited that he finally did that. He's finally done that and started that journey. Right. But I so badly want to be like, so what y'all talking about? What were your takeaways?
Yes.
What were your? But I don't want him to feel like he has to share with me.
Right.
But like, I would love to fucking know what they're talking about. And he'll be like, "Oh, I had a therapy today," and I'm always like,
"Do you say how'd it go?"
Well, I'll be like, "How do you feel?" And he'll be like, "Oh, I feel great." And I'm like,
and that's all he says?
Yeah, that's it. And so, but I mean, Abe isn't a volunteer of information. You have to like ask him about it. Right. Whereas like, I'd be like, girl, let me tell you.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, it's good. And I'm like,
I don't know. That's tough.
I had the same feelings too, because we've had certain issues, obviously, with every relationship. But
right.
I know that Oscar specifically went, for a specific thing. And so I was like, but did you talk about that? Did you like mention that? And what did they say? Are you sure? Did you tell him the full thing?
Yeah, I do this with my person all the time.
And that's probably not.
No, whatever.
It's not healthy.
Well, we always know, like, if we don't want to share about a certain part of it, like, he just won't share that part. Or he'll be like, well, I also talked about ex-wife. I don't really want to get into it. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't need to know everything. Yeah. And that's you. We each have to have our own personal stuff, obviously.
Right.
But for the most part, we share so much stuff because I feel like it helps our relationship. Like, our relationship is so different now than it was years ago, and it's just because we're so open and honest with each other. Like, I've learned so much stuff about him that and he did too, as we went through this process, that it's just like, okay, I know you now. Like, I know you and I know all your deep issues. Thank you. And so we can just kind of go back and forth with them. And I just think it's I think it's for us. I'm not saying for everybody. But for us, I think it's healthy because you have that layer of connection where there's really not a lot of uncertainty about, like, are they hiding something or whatever? Because we each came into the relationship with traumas and triggers and, like, childhood stuff that made us, anxious avoidant or whatever, and I never really was big into that, but, like, the way you operate in a relationship, like, how you grew up has a lot to do with it, so, like, we've dissected each other's families and how was it when you grew up, and so when he comes home from therapy, I'm like, "How was it?" And he'll be like, "Well, we talked about this and this," and I'm like, "But did you actually say, like, what did you say? Like, what did he say?" And I flat out ask. So, but I don't know how Abe would feel about that.
I'ma ask.
Ask, and
I'ma
then
ask.
if he doesn't feel comfortable, he'll just be like, "I don't really wanna tell you," and then you have to back off because it's really not your business.
Right.
But yeah, I like to get all in it and just figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I love to get in it. And
It's
just
your health insurance. Just hack it.
Oh!
Get all the notes. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
I don't even think you can. I don't even know where my own notes would be.
I'm kidding. I mean, I'm sure he has some access. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that is one of the weird, interesting things to me. Not weird, I don't want to use that word. The adjusting to life with in a married couple, because now that we've like when we went and got his car, like both of our names are on it, and so like some of the mail comes to me about his car, some of it's him, and then I feel like, oh wait, I shouldn't open this, but it has my name on it, and it's like literally because my mom was never married in my adult life and my grandmother was not married, so I've never seen this before, the true joint of everything, where the joining of everything, and so it's been super fascinating on things that he's used to because his parents have been married, for 30 plus years. And so he's used to it where I'm like,
yes.
whoa.
I am so in your boat right now because we're like sort of combining things.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like all for like combining of some finances and going to see a financial advisor. And I got nervous and I kind of shut down a little bit. And then he took that as like, I don't want to share part of my life with him. And he's like, is it me? And I'm like, this is one of the things we discussed. I'm like, so my mom and dad got divorced when I was young, and one of the core memories I have is my mom being like, never be dependent on anyone. Like, you always have to take care of yourself first and be okay, and if that means that you gotta, like, keep us some money separate, like, you never depend on anyone, because I think she was obviously very wounded from what happened with my dad.
Right.
And so even in my marriage, everything of ours was separate. We never combined anything. And it worked just fine for me because I did all of our bills and everything. Because I just felt better being in control of all that, knowing that I would do the right thing. And so when we did get divorced, ultimately it was actually a pretty easy divorce for the both of us because we didn't have anything to split down. Like all of our stuff was already separate.
Right.
And so when my person now is like talking about like combining some stuff, what you just said, Miguel, made a little switch flip for me because like his parents are still married. They've been married. He was previously married in which they had joint everything. So for him, this is a very normal, natural thing.
Right.
And for me, I'm like screaming inside, like, oh no,
right.
This is like sending a red flag because I don't know what's going to happen if we do. Like, I don't know. My mom told me never be dependent on anybody. Like, you know what I mean?
I think that there is a difference between being dependent and also joining together.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, but I don't know what the difference is. Like,
right.
I don't get it.
Whereas, like, to me, I feel like for us, like, that's why we did go to a financial advisor to join together, because just like you, Holly, I was like, how do you do it? Like, and then I was afraid, knowing how I am, because I'm very territorial. I'm very much like, this is mine, that's yours. I don't mind helping, and I don't mind you helping me.
I know, I'm like, what's yours is mine and mine is yours, but like, I know what mine is.
Right. Like, I'm keeping tabs all the time about what's mine and what's yours and what's ours together.
But we're freely doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not like hoarding it, but I still know what's mine.
But bitch, I got a receipt in my head. But so that was my thinking. But now that we are 2 years into, joint finances and everything, it truly does feel like it's ours. Like, we just put it in the pot and we make decisions together on like if there is a big purchase that we want to make. Like, for instance, the little jogger Lululemon pants I always wear, they got a hole ripped in them because I wear them every day.
Okay, like
And
you say.
so I gotta go spend, $5,000 to get new pants from Lululemon.
I
you
know,
do.
right? I'm facing the same dilemma.
Right. And so I was like, all right, probably in the next 2 weeks, we're gonna pay off some credit cards here. I'm
Mhm.
gonna go to Lululemon and I'm gonna make this purchase. Just so we're all on the same page. Are we good for that? Yeah, we are. We are. Okay, good, good, good. But it also makes me spend less
Frivolously.
thank you. Whereas before I'd just be like, oh, cool, I can just buy it. I'll buy it. Do. Whereas now I'm like, do I really want to have a conversation about why I spent money on X, Y, Z? Is everything okay?
Yes, all of a sudden, my TV on the side, someone started doing something to it, and it wasn't me. And I'm like, who's in there?
Bob Pittman,
Who's connected? Like,
Uncle
why
Bob,
is some
the CEO of
fuck out
iHeartRadio?
of my TV?
All
Like,
of a
whoever's
sudden,
in
it's
there.
the Ring.
Yes. Oh,
Bitch.
But it's Uncle
so
Bob.
sorry. I hear Bob. Come on,
He's like-
Bob.
He's like, let me just check in on this Tampa facility and see what's going on over here.
That's so weird.
Wait,
Okay, anyway,
so
I'm
you
sorry.
guys share a debit or a credit card?
Yeah, we share everything. So we have, like the financial advisor, what they told us is we both have our original checking accounts we both had at the time. And then we got one account together where that's where we pay for our bills, our meals, entertainment, vacation, stuff like that. And then you still have your money separate. So like before we moved, I would like basically split my paycheck. Half of it would go into our joint account and the other half would go into my separate. And then now since we moved here, everything just goes into that one, but I still have my separate one for my fast food purchases.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like hesitantly, I'm like, we could probably get one joint one, but can I still have my own? Like, I don't know. I feel weird.
I have we just did this, like, I want to say a week or two ago. I have a high yielding savings account. And so that's where we put our house money, our future house money. I already have mine. I don't know if he's actually put his in. I have to check that. But anyways, that's the only thing I'd be scared to do it some sort of joint situation like that because one, there is a salary gap now. He makes a crap ton more than me. And two, like I'm very much the person who is good at saving. And he eats out every day, which like is not a bad thing. He can afford it and like he just that's just what Oscar's always done. And so I don't mind that. But if we were to get in a more serious like joint account situation, like that wouldn't fly well with me, you know? And so I almost feel like it's better to be separate. I don't know.
I mean, but I think it makes you, one of the things that I liked about going to this financial advisor is that you once a month you have what they call financial date nights, where once a month you sit down and you sort of go over everything and you sort of make those calls. Like, what are you what do you put value on? Like one of the things that we learned early on is that I never want anything big or extravagant outside of like our summer cruise that we save up for. I'm never one that's like, oh, I want a, new laptop or I want a new anything expensive. My stuff is like, I like to eat out for lunch or when we go out on the weekends, I like to buy drinks for, a few friends or whatever.
Right.
Whereas like Abe doesn't spend money on the daily on anything, but then he's like, I want a motorcycle or he wants those big ticket items. And so we've learned that, all right, when I'm spending, $50 a week on takeout, we're putting $50 away for when he wants that one big thing later on. So then you both are equally making sure, because you don't want anyone to be resentful and feel like they're not getting what they want.
Right. Yeah.
But that's where those conversations come into play and why I really like those financial date nights.
I was going to say, did you get all that knowledge from the financial advisor you went to?
Yes. And this is not a paid advertisement. I do not get paid from them. But the Financial Gym, that's the name of the place. I think they are terrific at helping you combine your finances. I had signed up for them before we combined our finances. I was just at a place where I was like, all right, I need to get my stuff together. So I would highly recommend the Financial Gym.
Are they just advisors? They're not doing investing and stuff.
No,
are they?
No, but they give you, we hadn't gotten to that point because we could have paused it because we moved here. And so I was like, girl, that is one thing I can't handle right now is
God,
having
no.
a meeting with them once a quarter.
No.
But we were getting to that point to where we were, because they want you to like, do you have the emergency savings?
Right.
What are your 5-year plans? What are your 10-year plans? And so they sort of help you walk through, depending upon where you are in your money cycle of life.
Yeah.
They help you figure out what your next plans are. So like when we first started, ours was at some point we want to have an investment property together. And so once we got through these, debts that we had to pay off, then we would get to that. But they helped us organize it in a way so you're not just, out here willy-nilly.
Well, I am willy-nilly right now. But the thing is, my person's sister is like a financial advisor, and he's got like a bunch of stuff with her already.
Right.
And I'm like, he's like, well, we could go to her, and like, because he's like, I just want to give you my money, and like, I'm just giving it to you,
Right.
and like, we're just gonna like be together, but like, just help. And I'm like, I don't know, bitch. I don't know. So I'm like, do we do this? Like, do we have to go to a financial advisor? Because the one that I have right now, I don't like. Because I feel like whatever, it doesn't matter. So,
Right.
I just need to do something, and I'm feeling like pressure now to do it because I feel like I've been living in an extended trauma for a while now. And with my mom's passing and some other things on my partner's end that are going to be tied up, through the rest of this year, we're finally getting to a place where like my eyes can open to like other things in life for a little while.
Right.
I'm not just
Travel.
dealing with like I'm not just putting out the next fire anymore.
Right.
So now it's like, oh, maybe I can do these things. I have some time. I don't know right this minute, but I will eventually.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest the financial gym. We actually are going to sign back up for it because we kind of this year, since we've been in Charlotte, we were kind of just like, everything is about comfort and just getting used to going through a marriage and finishing building the house and moving and starting a new job. And so now everything is about like, now it's time to like, let's get our shit together. And like, I'm getting my health together and he's getting his mental health together, and we're getting our finances by going back to the financial gym. So,
that makes sense.
I highly, highly recommend the financial gym. So
dope.
Okay. I'm gonna write that down.
Holly, I'm super excited to try this. How does this sound in your ears? Does it
Pretty
sound
normal.
like normal, like we would on the show? Or is it still loud?
It's still a little loud.
Oh no.
It's still a little loud. I can hear myself over it.
Can you hear
talk.
me talking normally right now? Like, Holly, what's your social media?
It's not as bad as Radio Holly, by the way. It's not as bad as it was in the other studio, but the music is still louder than you.
And it's not like that when we're on the air in Charlotte.
You mean when I'm in Charlotte?
Yeah, no, like, I'm sorry. It's not like that when we're on the air regularly.
I don't know. I didn't pay attention today. I will tomorrow.
Okay. Producer Kelbin, what's your social media?
At Kelbin Live, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Subscription coming soon.
What?
It is. I just have to like re-record stuff.
Oh, he's filming some new scenes for OnlyFans. Mine is Miguel Fuller. You can add me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Be Real. Also, Peloton. If you're on Peloton, I'd love to take a ride with you. All right, please make sure to give us a 5-star rating. We would appreciate it. Leave us a review. We'll see you on Friday.
Miguel and Holly Uncensored.
Catch it on the iHeartRadio app or anywhere you listen to podcasts.